Konnichiwa, it's Justin Morris here with another episode of the Diabetes Insight vlog. I'm here in Michigan in the USA, which is the hometown of my wife, Morgan, and we are just a few weeks away from the birth of our first child, which is very, very exciting. Another thing that's happening here in Michigan is the weather is warming up. The winter was extremely difficult, and I must admit it played a big role on the mood of both myself and my wife. It's very hard to see the good things in life when the weather is so bad outside. So we're very happy that the weather is improving, the sun's coming out more, the temperature is coming up, and there is actually a link between your feeling, your emotions, your mood, and the weather outside. It's extremely difficult to see the good things when the weather is so bad. So now it's getting better. We're starting to feel a bit more happy and a bit more encouraged about what's to come ahead. And on that note, I've heard some very exciting and positive news out of Australia recently. Now, people who live with type 1 diabetes in Australia will have access to a continuous glucose monitor. Previously, this has been prohibitively expensive for most people that live with the condition. But now we will all have access thanks to the support of the amazing patient support organisations we have in Australia and the Australian government. The patient support organisations are an integral part of enabling life for people with type 1 diabetes. In Australia, we're very, very lucky we have these amazing, mainly charity and volunteer-driven organisations that lobby the government so that we have access to resources like continuous glucose monitors. This has been a long process, has taken a lot of dedication and a lot of time and a lot of extremely intense passion from the people involved. But now it will have life-changing effects for many people, including myself, who live with type 1 diabetes. With CGM technology, we will be able to much more accurately and consistently manage our blood sugar levels. This news from Australia encouraged me to seek out some of the patient support organisations here in the USA. The USA has a very complicated system of support for people with diabetes. Many people struggle with the cost of mere insulin, let alone CGMs. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in this country to help the people who live with the condition that I have. Subsequently, I found some really, really encouraging and inspiring organisations who are trying their best to try to help the people that live with diabetes, and they are making good ground. An organisation here called the College Diabetes Network helps young people who live with diabetes who are going to university to seek out support and try to make the most out of their university experience despite having type 1 diabetes. They offer things like community meetups. They offer other things like academic and athletic support programs to help people understand how to make the most of their life despite diabetes. I spoke at a webinar they had online last week that was specifically targeted college athletes who have type 1 diabetes. They're making some good ground, and I hope that one day here in the USA there is the type of support that people like myself get back in Australia. There's a lot of work to do, but these patient support organisations, I can't emphasise enough how important their work is, and they really are spearheading, they're leading the charge as far as improving the life for everyone with this condition. I read a quote the other day that made me think about these diabetes patient support organisations, and it read, "Do not think that a small group of like-minded individuals cannot change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." A lot of the positive changes, not just in the diabetes world, but in the world in general, have been the result of a group of dedicated, passionate, like-minded people who get together and work together towards a common goal. So what does this mean for your life in diabetes in Japan? If there is a gap, if there is something that you think is not being done properly and could be being done better, then it could be up to you to engage with either your existing patient support organisation, or maybe it is a possibility for you to create your own, be the catalyst for change by helping create these patient support organisations. These are really, a lot of the great things that have happened in the diabetes world have been the result of organisations like this. A lot of the research, a lot of, like I mentioned in Australia, the lobbying to government so we have access to the things we need to be healthy and alive with diabetes have been the result of these often volunteer charity organisations who really fight to make the life as best as it possibly can for us with diabetes. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, if you see a gap, if you see something that needs to be done, then maybe it can be up to you to get involved with an organisation, or maybe start your own. I've seen people do it. I haven't done it myself, but I've seen people do it and it has had amazing effects for people with diabetes. We are a team, and when we work together, we achieve the best results.